because her clothing is too revealing, because she is boy crazy, because either she's kissing around or sleeping around or whatever it is.
You find out that somebody's meeting their love, belonging needs. Now they're in the gang.
The virtual world for them is not virtual, it's real.
Yeah.
It's as real as being in person.
But I feel that if you have a church where there are no young people, that's a dying church.
Hello and welcome, everyone. This is another episode of Tea Talks, and I have with you my good friend, Kiera. Well, actually, I'm not going to say good friend yet because we are, I feel like a good friendship, but what I do enjoy as well, it's getting to know people in the podcast, because it's first time that I'm hearing, and I actually like that. So then once I know more about your life, then we're going to say, yes, we are good friends.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, I would like to know a little bit more of who you are. So tell me from wherever you want to start.
Okay. First of all, Chris, thank you for having me on. And I love the title of this podcast, Tea, I should have a cup of tea right now, but I have this running.
Next time I'll give you a mug. Next time I see you.
A tea talk mug for sure, and a shirt that I can represent. But I'm telling you, I love that because I love getting the tea. I love it. I love it. And that's probably why I love hanging out with young people.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
They are the best tea tellers ever. And I have 2 granddaughters, and they don't know they're giving me tea. But I'm like, what, girl? What happened? And she did what? I love the tea. So
love it.
It's a perfect topic. And I'm glad I'm here. I am Kiera Deschamps. I'm trying to think, how do I tell people who I am without describing what I do? Right? That's always hard.
We are all trying to learn how to do that.
We're all trying to learn that. I'm always trying to coach towards that. And in women's groups, we're always talking about, well, I'm a mom, I'm married to so-and-so, and I'm doing, and it's like, no, who are you? And so let me answer that. I am a child of the Most High God.
Yes.
I'm a woman who loves people. I love Jesus. I love learning so much more, about him. And I love to be able to be around people and encourage them. So I'm an encourager. I'm a supporter. I'm a ride or die. I'm an educated woman. And of course, let me just tell you the titles. I am a wife. I'm married to my husband for 33 years. So let's give it up for that. So for 33 years, we've been married. I grew up military brat. My dad was in the U.S. Air Force. I'm the third of 4 children. So I'm kind of in the middle. I have a brother. My brother's oldest, my sister. And then 6 years later was me. And then 6 years later was my younger sister. So I am the middle child. So that in itself, those people who are listening that are psychoanalyzing you right now, yep, I am that middle child. All the things. And I'm a person who, loves justice and helping people and advocating for people and, looking at, where people are hurting. It's just one of those things that's always been drawn to me. And that's probably why I ended up getting my master's degree in professional counseling. And so with that, growing up, I worked at the YMCA, I did 4-H, I worked at YMCA camps, overnight camps, camp counselors, growing to be a camp director. And then that career kind of landed me working with at-risk youth in a therapeutic wilderness program and therapeutic programming, where we did a lot of group therapy work, person-centered type therapy. I used to run an all-girls, all high-risk program down in Florida, which was great. And so I always found myself, I love, working with young people, but I've always been drawn to working with the young girls and young women. And when I was working with that at-risk youth program, a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, those people are so bad. They'll cuss you out. They like to fight. There's so much drama working with them. I'm like, give it to me. I love it. Like, I wanna get all in the middle of that and find out what's happening, and, and what we learned is, there were problems, there were issues, there was abuse, there was addictions, there's
There's always. Mhm.
always a story, and you could never get to that root of anything until you get past, the shell, till you get past the trauma and the hurt and all the things. Like, you just can't get there if you give up, you know? So
It's so amazing how God puts things together, because when I say, I didn't know you yet because I just saw you a couple times at the church speaking, saying hi, goodbye. But
mhm,
immediately I knew we clicked for some reason. And well, listening to the preaching that you did not too long ago, that you shared with me the link, and now telling me about your background. I did not know your background was in
yeah.
counseling. I had no idea that you worked with young girls, and I love to knowing this because now we can get into even more of what I enjoy talking about it. So,
Yes,
and first of all, isn't it amazing how, first of all, God puts us together, but He wires people to the needs that He sees it's going to feed for that time, for that person specifically.
it
Because
really does.
honestly, I'm a pastor
Mhm,
and I love young people,
yeah,
but I know I don't have the capacity to help them when they are in trouble, like you're just mentioning.
mhm, mhm,
So,
yeah.
and God knows exactly who they are, who are the people that will work with them, and God wired you to be able to do this work.
Absolutely. I've known that all of my life. I'm just drawn to it,
Hmm.
just I could see them grouped up at a school or see the girls grouped at church or some community event. And I find myself just going right over there. I don't even know them, but I'll, say something about the outfit. I'm like, okay, girl, I see your hair, you know, oh, I love that fit. I just find myself just drawn, and I have so much fun doing it. And even when I was, church leader, director of a youth group back in the day. Like, I always wanted to work with the teen leadership group,
Hmm.
or when my husband and I were teaching, classes at church. He would be working with the early teens. And I was like, give me the teens. Like, I want that group.
It's so
And
funny because my group is the older, like young adults and on. That
yeah,
is the group that I'm more drawn to,
yeah,
So God knows exactly who to put. But
exactly.
the the ones that come to me have to go through all the teen years. So it's
Yeah,
important for me to understand that side as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
And okay, I'm talking to the right person now because now there's so many things in my heart that God has been putting in my heart for the longest time. And I understand why this is so important to me.
Mhm,
It's a lot of it because of my background. I think you heard my testimony, right?
yeah.
And well, I wrote a book which gets into a lot more details. And the reason why I wrote this book was not just to expose myself of the things that first was done to me and the things that I did to myself, because
Yeah,
at one point I have to take responsibilities too to
yeah.
the things that I did. But it wasn't just to expose myself, but it's specifically what I wanted to do is help young girls that
Mhm,
are going through the same thing that I went through.
yeah.
And it gets to a point that is like, you know what? Everybody already thinks, and I think we're going to make this not PG, but everybody already thinks that I'm a slut. I'm just going to
Yeah,
live like one.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and they, first of all, they think that that's the condition that they have to live.
yeah.
People start judging them and they judge that there is no solution for them.
Right. Or
That
my family was always like this, or I come from a family and my brother or my sister was
Mhm.
like this. So you start to, walk around with that identity in your life, or thinking, hey, this happened to me when I was younger. So therefore I'm never gonna be anything. No one's ever gonna listen to me. So it's just that generational type of, trauma that just keeps going from family member to family member. And then it just messes with your identity, right? It just messes with a person, how they get dressed in the morning, how they
Mhm.
enter a room, what jobs or careers they start looking at, whether I go education route or career. Every single decision you make after that is based on how you're feeling about yourself.
Yep.
and what you feel like your identity is.
And I want you to talk about something that I think you're going to have more experience to explain, even to me. But these are just from my experience and observation. One thing that breaks my heart is when I see family, church members, even friends judging a girl. Let's talk about specific about a girl right now, okay? Because her clothing is too revealing, because she is boy crazy, because either she's kissing around or sleeping around or whatever it is. That breaks
Or
my
girl
heart.
crazy. They can
Yeah.
be.
Oh, yeah. Both. Yeah. But
Yeah.
my point is that there is, for me, I believe there is something behind
Yeah.
of why they're behaving like that.
Oh,
What are
absolutely.
your thoughts?
So both things. So let's start with the adult. Let's start with the person who's making the judgments, thoughts, or whether they say it out loud. Let's start there because they have some type of experience and worldview that they've grown up with that that is programmed inside of them that when girls dress like this, they are identified as that.
Mhm.
Or, whatever their parents have, ingrained in them or people have said to them. So there's already that worldview that they're having, right? Which is just transferred out to young people.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's some protection there too, because you have people who are like, I don't want them to be touched. I don't want anybody to think that they're promiscuous. So when they wear dresses like that, they're thinking, oh, you're saying to someone, you can have me. You're saying to someone that, you can see my body. And so, there's that protective piece too from parentals, right? From the adults who are like, I don't want anybody to mistake, mistake her for being promiscuous or whatever. So there's that protection there too. So sometimes when I hear that from adults, I like to break that down for adults and like kind of instead of just me going, shut it. Stop saying that. Don't ever
We need to understand their side as
you need
well.
to understand where that's coming from and
Mhm.
then kind of break that down. And then for the young girl that's happening to, I do wanna break down, like, why they like, what is it about the outfit? Or, it might just be, "Hey, I love dressing like this because I just feel great in my skin," or whatever. Or you may have someone that says, "People seem to like it. My boyfriend likes it." Or, you just wanna have the conversation that's not so, judgmental or attacking, like, "Why are you wearing that?" It's just, hey, when and then helping them with the body image. I've had plenty of conversations with girls in my group or something like that, same conversations. And they may feel bad, like, oh, Miss So and so said my top was too low, or Miss So and so, they won't let me get up front and sing because I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt. Or, it's like all the things that happen. And so building a relationship with them first gets you into so many other deeper conversations, right? Like you're not getting anywhere if one, you have no relationship with that young person, right?
Absolutely.
And they don't trust you or they just think you have some ulterior motive, right? You're not breaking down any walls. You're not getting anywhere. But once you get in there, you can have the conversation that, hey, it makes sense that when you're up front, that your dress is a little bit longer because people who are sitting below you can see under your dress. So you can still wear it, but put on some shorts, right? Or when you're sitting up front, if you're sitting there and your legs, people can see right, think about the audience and what you see. So explaining it that way is a little bit more practical and logical. Again, I'm a middle child. Things need to make sense to me, right? So I got to break this down. Why are you telling me that? Oh, it's because people can see right under my dress when I'm up front. I wasn't aware of that. Or I have a low cut shirt when I bend over to help someone or when I'm tying a kid's shoe or whatever, people can see straight through. So having that type of conversation is way different than saying, "Oh, she just wants to show her chest and she's just being this way or that way and wearing short skirts." That's not gonna that's
And
not
it gets more complicated when we come out of the church settings. Okay,
Mhm.
because like it or not, we Christians ended up we work a lot we barely have time for ourselves. Then we go to church, then we go home and we
Yeah.
rest because we're exhausted.
Yeah.
So our contact, and this is what I am forcing myself to get out of my bubble, because you actually have to force yourself.
Mhm.
I'm forcing myself to get out of my, not because I don't want to be with people that are not churched people. It's just the lack of time. Life is crazy. But when we get out of the church settings, which a lot of our young people are not always in church settings. And we go out there to reach the people that are outside, and we start realizing that
Yeah.
what we are concerned, oh, because you're going to go in the pulpit or because you're going to bend down, this is the least of their problems.
Right.
This is the least of their worries. And what it really gets to me is that, yeah, first you have to develop a relationship. You have to, but not develop a relationship with the intention of let her trust me so I can help her change her wardrobe.
Yes. Nope. At
No,
all.
that's not going to help.
That's not it.
What I wanted to do is introduce this child to Christ.
Yeah.
Allow God to bring this person to me and allow me to be able to be a vessel to bring
Mhm.
Christ to this person.
Mhm.
Now, it could just be, hey, everybody dresses like this. I enjoy. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, revealing clothing has something deeper.
Mhm.
There's there is first of all, peer pressure. If I don't dress like this, I'm not gonna be cool. If I don't
Yeah.
dress like this, I'm not gonna have the boyfriend. If
Right.
they think I am the, what is the expression in English? The goody two shoes.
Goody two shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure
The
if
good
I'm.
girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the good girl. I'm not gonna be cool enough. So there's those pressures.
Yeah.
But there was a training seminar that I went to. uh they brought it was a training seminar for pastors, and they
Mhm.
brought this lady that she has a foundation. She helped young people that have been human trafficked,
Oh, yeah.
and she said that she was trying to find the common denominator among all of these kids, because a lot of them, they weren't kidnapped, they volunteered to do the
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
And she was like, there's got to be a common denominator. And the common denominator ended up being that all of them were abused as children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for us that are outside of the world, that makes zero sense. But for those children, they were like, well, I've been forced to have sex with my stepfather for the last 5 years. At least this way I'm going to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which for us, it makes zero sense.
Yeah.
For
Well,
us, it's
I mean, it does make a lot of sense, if you think about it.
no, no.
I'm getting negative attention is attention.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What I say that makes zero sense is, for me, a 50-year-old woman that now knows Christ and knows that the best way would to report the stepfather. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's an
Yeah, yeah.
adult thinking. That's
Yeah.
an adult
That's
thinking.
not a child thinking.
No, a child thinking is they're afraid, they're embarrassed, they feel like it's their fault.
Yeah. And
The-
something that they're telling me I need to hear. I want to hear. I want to hear that I'm beautiful. I want to hear that you care about me. I want to hear because I'm having problems with my parents. So you're telling me that, hey, your parents are being too strict or you shouldn't live in that environment. I can help you. So there's so many other things too where people, they're easily groomed because it's fitting a need. Like it's filling a void. It's filling a love and belonging void or safety or like the Maslow's the
Hierarchy.
hierarchy of needs. But if somebody else is able to meet those needs for you, then, you're most likely going to head this way and it's going to end up being, bad, damaging, trafficking, all the things, but they're grooming them. And as soon as they know that there's a weak spot, what's happening, their home life's not nice, or they don't have good I'm buying you clothes now, or I'm helping. As soon as those needs are being fulfilled, they're out.
And of course, I'm not only talking about children that have been physically abused. That's why they dress like that. That's
Mhm,
not what I'm saying.
mhm,
But a
mhm.
lot of times, the way that they express in their clothing, there's something behind that
Yeah,
they are expressing in a way that identify how they're feeling on the inside.
yeah,
And it's
Yeah,
hard. And what we want to do as Christians, we want to fix the way that they dress
yeah, yeah,
without understanding what could be behind,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Now, going beyond just the way that they dress, uh, I have not, I am sure they do exist, but I have not met a single girl yet that is going boy crazy or girl crazy
Mhm,
just because I haven't even met. I remember a there was this young man that he was doing a ministry with a group of people where they were helping prostitutes. So he actually talked to several prostitutes, male and female. And the stories, I have not heard of a single person that just have sex either for money or not for money, but just like I'm just gonna have sex to have sex just because. Usually there was something that happened to them.
yeah, yeah. That's That's usually the top reason for sure. Once you get they were exposed to something, something happened to them, very early on, a lot of times in their formative years, like there was something that happened. Um, that yeah, yeah. And whenever I worked at the program in Florida, you know, they got sent there because this was a high risk. So
Mhm,
this was a gated, lockdown, secured facility, and they got sent there because of the symptoms, right?
mm,
Runaway, fighting, kicked out of school, gang related activities. And so they would just hop from school to school, detention center to detention center, all these things. So they were like on their record, their forms that came with them. You're looking at, oh, this person, their mom, they, don't have a mom, or they were, you know, fighting at school, they've been kicked out, they were on probation and they messed up their probation. Oh, they ran away with their boyfriend. They ran away. And you start to see all these patterns. And so you're looking at them on a sheet of all the things they've done. And you're like, man, this person, right? And then you find out because they usually would stay there from 10 to 12 months because the whole goal is to come on in, let's rehabilitate, and let's get you back into your environment.
mhm,
So what we learned, of course, is that if they've run away that many times, they're either running to something or they're running from something
mm,
or someone, right? And so you find that out immediately. It's the stepfather, it's the uncle, the brother, the somebody, right? Sometimes it was even a female of authority figure. You find out that somebody's been giving them drugs and now there's some addiction. You find out that somebody's meeting their love belonging needs. Now they're in the gang. They've run away. Now they're being trafficked or, selling. It turns into all the destructive behaviors. But what you find out is there's a root. And
mhm,
so and that's the whole reason for the group therapy and all the thing and the peer therapy, right? Because some other girl who was there, she's been through it. And now she can kind of help you, like, you got to get out of there. This is what happened to me, and that's what happened to me. So you learn so much. And so when I see the behaviors, just red flag, red flag, red flag, I'm like, oh, there's a lot happening there. She's running away. She never stays home. She's running away. Well, what is she running from? Like, you got to ask, what is she running from and where is she going every time she runs away? Is there a particular person? Is there a place? What is happening? So you got to have the time and the patience to, and even if you're not trained, right? Like you were saying, I'm not trained in this, or somebody says, I'm not trained in that, or someone at their church or community says, I don't know how to deal with all that. That's fine. But what you do need to know is there's more to the story than
mhm,
they're letting on. There's more to the story than what you see surface. And it's up to you to either get to know that what's under the surface, or connect, make sure they're getting some type of support. Bring somebody else into that relationship. Like they're talking to you and you and I were just talking about this. You build that relationship with them, you're like, okay, this is starting to get a little out of my scope, but maybe you bring a couple other people into that relationship that you're nurturing that does have a little bit more experience or can relate in another way with that young person, and now you've built a community around them, right? Now we're
Yes.
all supporting them
Yeah,
instead.
yeah, you're getting to the point now that I wanted to get. It's like, how can we help them? Because yeah, I had an experience that I mentioned to you briefly before, where as a pastor, I was referred this young lady, but just through text. I never met her in person,
Mhm.
which is it's teaching me a whole new world of how young people are in a the virtual world for them is not virtual, it's real.
Yeah.
It's as real as being in person.
Yeah.
Okay. And let me explain to you in a sense. I'm not talking about the people that are fantasizing that a video game is real. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about like they are they live online as they live as we lived
Yeah.
in our generation in person.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was growing up, I would draw an entire household a chalk in my driveway and play with my friend's house. That was my imagination.
Yeah.
Okay. And you see the boys playing basketball and they do a hoop and they're like, yay, high five, and all excited. The online world for them, when they get the likes, when they get the people that see what they're
Yeah.
doing, is the same thing. We older generation are like, oh, but
Yeah.
that's not real. For them, it's real.
It's very real.
They're celebrating something, they are doing something. So anyways, more and more I'm learning about how to reach young people online. And this person was referred to me by it's a it's a foundation that works with churches, and when somebody's in need, they refer to local pastors. I was referred to this person, but all I had from this person was her text. And I'm the kind of person that I would do anything to be able to help this young girl. And this young girl seemed to just needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
But then after a few days, things got a little deeper. And when I say I'm not trained for this, it's not that I don't care and I don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
have her
Yeah.
problem. It's just because it got to the point where she was talking about committing suicide and all of that. And I'm like, oh, what if this girl, what if I don't give her what she needs and she
Yeah.
does commit suicide?
Yeah.
You know? So, what can we do? Let's talk about it like before we're talking about like kids at the church, because I think we need to talk about both.
Mhm.
What can we do for people that are not church people, are not people that we're seeing in person, but like the day to day, a teacher, somebody? What can we do when we start seeing these young people that have these thoughts, that have these needs? How do we start developing a relationship?
Well, I think it's important to one, like you said, develop. We're talking about developing relationships. Find some commonality. Checking in with them, following up. Do the things that you said you were going to do. Hey, we're going to meet up for coffee, or hey, if there's an event that's happening, you're going to show up, or it doesn't matter. Even if their parents are there, you're still just kind of that other, support person. But I think what happens is as you start to develop a relationship and you start hearing different things, you're like, I need to connect them with a person who, enjoys this type of sport. Or perhaps this person has a son or daughter or somebody who also went through that, or, also went to that school, or, they were also, this person used to be in a gang and they shared that. And maybe this, so you start trying to connect the dots. That's something that I always tell people that's my superpower, trying to figure out how to connect people together. And then you find the commonalities of each person. And then when it starts going down a road of the suicide, or, hey, I'm having these nightmares, or I can't sleep anymore, or I'm a cutter, or when those things start to happen, we need to find the right resources. So finding out, like in your local community, asking questions. There may be people right in your own family, in your friend group, or in your church or community that are licensed therapists, or they know of someone, or their spouse is, or their brother is, or whatever. You start doing your research. You got to start asking those questions. Hey, do we know anybody who, texting your friends asking, do you know anybody who's ever whatever? Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. And so it's up to us. We have to keep doing the work, right? We don't want to give up on the young person. We don't wanna just stop and go, "I don't know how to do that." Like,
Yeah, exactly.
just like, "I don't know nothing about this world,
Too
this
much for me.
I don't know nothing about this K-pop world. I don't know nothing about Roblox because that's a whole nother world that I've been introduced to.
Hey, I know a little bit about the K-pop world.
I'm like, I don't know anything about this anime. Like, I'm like, I don't know what
No,
it
not anime, no Roblox, but I love K-pop and K-drama.
like, I
Ah,
don't know,
my
I do know about the Taylor Swift Easter eggs. I do know
my
about that. The
oh,
more
I don't even know what that is,
but
but
let me tell you, and this is why I know. It's by proximity.
it
It's
is.
leaning in and opening your eyes and mind to learn what is this phenomena that people are what is
Yep.
that they're talking about. Tell me what it is. So that's when I begin to learn, even from my grandchildren who are 5 and 6. What? Roblox? What is that? Come show Nana. So now we're on the iPad together and they're showing me, and you do this and I'm like, what? What's that? And what's that? So, it's just proximity. You got to dive in. You got to lean into whatever it is. I don't care if you like it, you don't like it.
It
Figure
was it was my niece who introduced me to the Korean everything,
Yeah,
so and for me it was so great to have my 15-year-old niece now having something to talk to me about,
yeah,
you
right.
know?
You can
Uh,
go, "Oh my gosh, I saw that they dropped so and so dropped a new album." You know, like, I saw Beyonce is doing da 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 da." When you throw and I don't even like, you may not even know the whole history of it all. Just because you said something or you saw something online that connected you together, oh, you're the coolest one. I call myself I'm the self-designated auntie because I am auntie years. I don't care. I own it. I am the auntie. So I tell myself I'm auntie. So tell me what that is. Let me see your phone. Who is this boy? What? Girl, let me see that. Mm-mm, don't have him talking to you like this. No. Mm-mm. That's me. So
Mhm.
I just tell myself, I'm auntie. So go ahead and tell me what's up. But but after you kind of lean in, you get to know you all the things. Now they start to talk about stuff you have no idea about, or they may not tell you more about because it's like, all right, this is where our relationship
Or even things that you completely disagree with.
Right, exactly. So somewhere in here, we have to, as adults, or if we're going to be a mentor, if we take ourselves down this road and we start into these conversations, we've got to stay committed. Right now, I'm committed. So I need to do some research. I need to pick up my phone, call a few people. I need to start connecting the dots, get some resources, bring them back, or begin to pull them in, even if that means you going with them to the appointment.
Mm, yeah.
Even if it means, "Hey, I'll drive you," or, "Hey, I'll come with you to talk to your parents." It
Mhm.
may be uncomfortable, it may not feel right, it may feel like, "Oh my god, I'm really overstepping my boundaries." But it might be because I love you and I care about you and I know this is a really scary thing. I don't mind. I will come with you when you want to talk to your parents, right? Or whatever. Or if I'm trying to talk to mom or whatever the navigation, whatever it is you got to do, you're committed now. So you're pulled into this. So now we have to protect this young person and we got to show support. To me, everything I just described is Jesus.
Mm. Yep.
It's very biblical.
Yep.
It is his practice, his characteristics, his love. Like it was him one on one with this disciples. Then he brought all the disciples. Sometimes he was there, sometimes the disciples were there by themselves. Either way, everybody was ministering. Everybody had a purpose. Everybody has a role. And it's a village of a role, right? There were
Mhm.
many people who follow. I mean, they talk about the 12 disciples all the time when we talk about Jesus, but they ain't the only ones that were hanging out, right?
No,
There were
no.
multitudes of people. And I always like to think after I've stayed all day listening to Jesus, all week, getting loaves of fishes, bread, all this time. Somewhere in there, I feel like I'm going to walk away a different person, or I should walk away a different person, or I should be walking away going, I got some work to do, or we need to work. Like if I'm doing all of that, walking and following Jesus, because Jesus hardly ever rested, he was just always on. If I'm doing all of that and I'm showing up and I'm being around this man they call Jesus and listening to him and watching how somewhere in there, there should probably be hopefully there's some transformation
Yes.
happening. And then I can turn around and go to my community and say, what can we do here to bring the people together? How can we each help each other? You don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to be the expert, but you know a man named Jesus. So let's connect the dots and help.
That makes me reminds me of the time when I was introduced to Jesus. There was this lady. Well, I was not a teenager. I was like young adult, 24 ish,
Mm,
and was in a very destructive lifestyle. Okay, drug, sex, alcohol, nightclubs. I already had 2 children and probably would have lost the custody of my children if I had not changed my life.
mm,
None of that was because, honestly, I enjoyed that lifestyle. I
yeah,
didn't know how there was a better life for me.
yeah,
I thought that was it. I was very responsible. I worked, I paid my bills, I supported my kids, and then I would find somebody to take care of them for me to go party, never left them alone. So I had some level of consciousness of what was
yeah,
right or what was wrong. But when I said that I would lose my children, not so much that they would take it away because I was doing something abusive, but more in the sense of party life was really good and leave them with their dad and just go party in that sense. Okay. 'Cause I wasn't that bad, but I also did not understand how lost I was because of my past and the things and the needs and the belonging and the love that I needed so bad, and I was
yeah,
looking for in alcohol, in nightclubs, and friendships and stuff like that, and going out with guys and all of that. But then this group of people, which by the way, this were like 20 or 30 of us at some point. There was a mom of one of this, actually two brother and sister of these kids, that she was a Christian. She is a Christian, and she was trying to bring them back to church, and
mm,
she started hosting this get-togethers Friday nights at her house.
yeah,
And she started doing exactly what you're saying. She's invested in us. She heard us. Even she heard things that it was against her principles. She
yeah,
didn't agree with what we were saying.
yeah.
Now, like 20 years later, I meet her sometimes and she's like, oh, the stuff you guys would tell me, it would break her heart because she wanted, but instead of saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to do this, and this is what's wrong, she loved us. She cared
Yeah,
for us, and
yes,
she prayed for us, and she
yeah.
allowed the Holy Spirit to make the change. So,
She had to cleanse her house before and after you guys left.
every time, every time. But anyways, now we're getting into the church part,
Yeah,
okay? And I know you go to a wonderful church. I love your church. When I'm here locally, that's where I go. I love your pastor, his
yes,
sermons, his sermons. Let me tell you a little secret. For pastors, the hardest thing is to listen to other pastors preach.
right. Oh,
Just because it's just like in any profession,
yeah, yeah.
when you are trained for that, you don't see like, I'm going to enjoy worship service, I'm going to enjoy the sermon. You dissect because you
Yeah,
have been trained, and you're
yeah.
you're constantly analyzing, and
This
it's
is his intro. Oh, this is the climax of it. He's about
yeah,
to
I
wrap up.
see what he's doing, and ah anyways, he is the kind of pastor that me as a pastor sit down and listen. And not a lot
Yes.
of pastors I can do that. Not because the
Uh-huh.
others are all bad,
Yeah.
but he got to a point that I really enjoy his sermons. But anyways, that
Yeah, me
was
too.
a little tangent here.
After the podcast, I'll have to ask you how you dissected mine.
And no, you did good. You did really good. Yes, yes, yes. You did really good. Okay, let's go to church. You have a wonderful church. But
Mhm,
now I want to ask you in general. Okay. I see the trend is changing a little.
mhm,
For the last 10 years, the young people are just leaving the church in droves. Okay. Now I see that there is a revival coming into church,
mhm,
but that's still quite slow. As a church, and the things that young people need, as of right now, I'm hopeful for the future, but as of right now, are we failing our young people?
I wouldn't really say failing. I think that's a little hard of a
Very
comment.
hard.
That's a very harsh it's a harsh word. And here's why I don't like that word. It's because I'm always telling people to give themselves some grace.
Mhm.
Right? I'm always saying that, like, in so many ways, and as a church leader, I say that a lot because ministry is happening. I have faith in knowing that ministries are happening. People are reaching out and talk. It may not look you may not know about it, and it may not look the traditional way that you may have once, back in the
Mhm.
day when the way you saw outreach and the way it was real formalized. So I always say ministry's happening. I don't think people are failing. But what I do think sometimes as adults, adults are adulting. We we're adulting and we have our own stuff that's happening, right? Like and like the tiredness and the work and the losing jobs,
Can
gaining jobs.
can I open up a little thing here? Are we really adulting?
I know, right? I'm still trying to grow up,
I'm still trying to grow up.
trying to figure out what I want to do. That's why I ain't got time to be mentoring nobody.
No,
For me, help me, help me.
I try to tell young people, you guys think we got it all together?
I'm like, I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's like sometimes we get caught up in our own stuff and it's not intentional. Like I don't
Mhm,
really feel like people go to church or go to community and go, I'm gonna stage right. I see a bunch of young people, I'm ignoring them. Like I
mhm,
don't feel like that is what is happening. I feel like there are a lot of things that that are already caught up that we're caught up with in our own lives. And then the other thing is kind of like you learn that in CPR, bystander apathy.
mhm,
You've heard of that? When you have somebody that falls out and somebody they're choking, but everybody thinks the other person is going to do it.
mm,
Right? Everybody thinks, "Oh, they're probably doing that. Somebody
mm,
else is probably praying with them. Oh, they have some friends. So I'm sure their friends are helping them." Like bystander apathy with the CPR, somebody goes and they're administering CPR, right, to someone, and the crowd starts kind of coming around. Well, you're taught in CPR to tell someone to go call 911. Well, it used to be just, "Hey, somebody call 911," and the somebody thinks somebody else is doing it.
and
And then
nobody's
at the
doing
end of
it.
the day, nobody's called 911. Well, they changed the training over the years and they say, "Hey, you go call 911. Hey, Chris, you're doing it." Then I've got a job to do. So I think too in the church, especially the busyness of all the things that are happening, people come in and they slip through because some people are thinking the other person has it, right? And so that is also happening in the church, even for adults, like when we're trying to. And so, as church leaders, it's our responsibility when I'm not caught up in my own stuff, right? To have those eyes and ears open. And so, there's some of us who will text before church, "Hey, we've got such and such coming today." Or, "Hey, who's going to be there?" Hey, we may be sitting in church and we may send out a little side text to someone saying, "I just met this lady, this young family. Is anybody having lunch at their house today?" Like these are things where you're setting up your structure so that everybody sees somebody. I always say, each one reach one, each one talk to one, each one do one, whatever it is, grab it. So if we're all coming in with that type of line of sight, did you see the person in the blue suit? Did you talk to, did you get, did you,
Mhm.
hey, I saw so and so tearing up during service today. Did anybody talk with her? Okay, you didn't. Great. I'm going to send her a text after church. So it's that type of awareness that to know that I'm there, my purpose is bigger than me. But it takes a lot of work to get there because sometimes you got to go through your own healing and your own stuff before I can even think about figuring out what everybody else has got going on.
Yeah.
But I think that is what I feel like has to keep happening. Like we've got to be able to each one reach one and
Mhm.
really stay focused on what's happening.
Yeah, and let me give you a little bit of why my word was so harsh.
Failing. You guys are failing.
Fouling. So first of all, I'm Brazilian. We are exaggerating everything we say and do.
Yeah.
That's to begin with. Second, so it's a little bit my personality of being something very exaggerated. But to be honest with you, so now my position is I'm the young adult director for the conference.
Mhm.
And in this position, I visit a lot of churches. And unfortunately, at this point, I don't think the word I used is actually exaggerated or harsh.
Yeah.
And I can see your point of view because I go to your church and
Mhm.
you only have the reality of your church.
Yep. That's true.
Now, one thing that you're saying is that it is right is this: no church, even those that failed our young people, did it intentionally.
Yeah.
They did with the heart of thinking, I'm serving God, I'm doing the best that I
Mhm.
understand, and I'm doing the best that I think for young people, because there's not a single church that I think they don't care for the young people. They all love the young people. They
Yeah.
all wanted to do something to keep them, to bring new
Yeah.
ones. So I do believe the intention is in the right place, but I do think we have failed. I do think that because I am visiting churches,
Yeah.
and when you get out of the big cities, it doesn't matter what state you are, because I have had experience in several states in the US, in Florida, in South North Carolina, in
Mhm.
Tennessee, in Michigan, somewhat in the northern states from North Carolina. And basically, you get out of the big cities where, and not even our churches in the bigger cities,
Yeah.
okay? Some churches in the bigger cities. But I go to churches that when I get there, I'm the youngest person.
Mm. Mm.
They have um, kids, little kids, that now they're not being brought by their young adult parents. They are being brought by their grandparents. The young adult parents are not even there, so they have little kids that the grandparents are bringing. Some young adults are bringing their
Yeah.
kids. Some teenagers that are being still forced by the parent or grandparent, and then we have this huge gap in age, and then we have the adults.
Right.
I believe the intentions were never to lose our young people, but somehow we did. Somehow, unfortunately, that happened.
Mhm.
There was a research that showed that young people are coming back to God and to spirituality, not so much to the churches.
Yeah.
Some churches, but not all churches.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't want to be hard on the people, because I'm with you. I do believe they did the best that they understood
Yeah.
was right.
Yeah.
But I also do believe there is a percentage of them, like you were talking about on your sermon that I listened to recently. We have focused too much on behavior that we forgot what the gospel is.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And it's uncomfortable for, someone to, maybe they've been married, somebody's been married for 30, 40 years. They've already, they're looking at possible retirement and all that. And you look back at young people, you're like, I don't even know what they're talking about. I don't know. What is a TikTok? What tweet? Do we tweet? Do we Twitter? What I don't even have apps on my phone. You know what I mean? Like there are some that just I feel like some people, and I'm not making excuses, but when I'm very holistic when I
Yeah.
look at a situation, it's like I don't even know how to relate to them, right?
Hmm.
So some people like I don't know how to relate to them. What am I gonna say? What am I and I think those are the people that we need to let know there's no structure to this. Just say hi.
Spend time with them.
Ask them about their major. Tell them to tell you about it. Like, just do those things. You don't have to go and have to, do all this research on, oh gosh, I don't even know what they're doing in college these days. Or I didn't take online classes back in my day. And, so I think because of the age gap, right? There's some intimidation. There's just that there's no they think there's no commonality in that generational gap, right? So you just shy away from that and kind of go, I'm just gonna let the young people deal with the young people.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that now,
Yeah.
right? And so I think there's some of that as well. But I feel that if you have a church where there are no young people, that's a dying church.
Yeah.
That is a dead church, like
Yes.
for sure. There's no life in it. Or if there's a little bit of life, it's not sustainable.
Mm. Yeah.
It's not sustainable because who's nurturing, that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
How one of the things that I do, and it's go to the different churches and do a training. It's called Growing Together. It's inspired on the book Growing Young, and the other book is that came out this year is called Young Adult Ministry Now. Also by Fuller Institute, both of them, and they are excellent. And this is a training to help churches come to this understanding, putting each other, the different generations in each other's shoes,
Mhm,
generations,
mhm. Yeah,
to be able to understand, to help change the DNA of these churches.
yeah,
Because I don't think the problem is that they don't care for each other.
right.
Is that they don't understand each other, not communicating, and that's pushing them away.
Yeah.
So this is part of what I do, but I want to hear your thoughts on how to help other churches start having the DNA that is in your church, for an example.
Yeah, and, and that didn't happen overnight, right?
No, no.
And there were some division and issues just like in any other church. One of my biggest because I'm a middle child, I'm all about equality and inclusiveness. Um, one of the things that what some of the work that has been done in our church and some of the conversations we have had is that you can have a multicultural church, but not be inclusive.
Mm,
You can go to a church and you could have every young person, every age group represented, but everybody leaves and goes their separate ways. So it's not just the makeup of a church, right? And I'm big on diversity, making sure, looking out and seeing all tongues and colors and things like that. But we could still walk away not having a clue about another person's culture and not understanding some of the plights that's happening in different cultures and not understanding what is going on in immigration or what's going on in a certain part of the country or we could we could walk right out and go I didn't know, but don't you know you have like 20 of those people in your church? You should probably talk to them,
yep.
right? You should probably ask a question. And so that has been some work. And I know I've been very vocal and some other people, how do we have real genuine conversations? How do you open up the doors where you're not just sitting beside someone in a pew, you're not just in class together talking about these things and then you leave. It's like how do you really be more intentional in learning, hey, I saw that there's some stuff happening in your country. Is this impacting you?
Mm.
You know, you don't have to know I don't have to know a thing that's happening, but I'll know just by asking them. And then they're gonna walk away going, "They cared about me to ask." Like, "Thank you for asking." Right?
It
And it's
goes
like,
back to develop a relationship with people.
develop a
Mhm.
relationship. Like, just ask them. Or somebody may say, even in my friend group, sometimes somebody will say, "Well, I had no idea, I wonder how that's affecting them," or "I had no idea that was happening." And I go ask them.
Yep.
Call them.
So simple.
Just ask. "Well,
Get
I
get
don't." Huh?
get some water.
Get some wa Go drink the water, eat the bread, drink the water. But it's like, just go ask them, sit with them, find out. Well, I may hurt their feelings. No, you're not gonna hurt their feelings. Just ask them to explain it to you because you don't understand. And so just like that, it's the same thing with the young people and generations, right? And it's the same going back the other way, letting young people know, hey, these aren't just old people. These people have done a lot, get to know this was a war veteran. This person did this. This person used to run a whole corporate entity or whatever it is. That intergenerational relationships and building is so important. It works in the outside world. I do a lot of work with active and aging adults. And that is the that's what they're trying to do is more intergenerational, like having college students working with the senior living communities and having young people engaged in some of these older the intergenerational, connections are so important because we all have so much to learn from each other.
Yes,
And not,
absolutely.
we should never go into a situation going, I'm the smartest in the room because you're not. What can I learn from the people that are in this room? And then how can I take that knowledge and then go spread it? Because when somebody
Absolutely.
tells me something, unless it's a secret, if somebody tells me something, I'm going to tell it. If you tell me there's a problem, I'm going to find some people and we're going to help solve it.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, it's like, hey, let's pull in together. How can we help? So it's
Yes.
all of the above, with working together. You can have a church, and I hate it for churches who don't have that middle group of young people. They do if they do have the younger ones, how can we bridge that gap, right? So it's not completely dead, almost dead, but not completely dead. But how can we make sure that lifeline does not get cut off as they get older? But even a church that has all of the generations and all of the colors of the rainbow, that you can't automatically think that's a thriving church, and that church, they all work together and they're all harmonious because it still takes intentionality to get.
Intentionality is the secret. Yes, we have to be intentional, create that community, create that feeling of real family, not just saying it, but
Yeah,
actually being a family, and that the people know that you actually care for them and you're not just wanting attendance or
yeah.
or like, it's so important for them to know that you genuinely care for them.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
My
absolutely, and it's
friend, this was so good. Time flies. I'm looking at it and I was like, wow, we've been talking for almost an hour
I
already.
I love this stuff.
And I don't think we even scratched the surface of so much that we could talk more. So we probably should have a part two here.
We should
Uh,
definitely have a part 2.
but I just want to thank you for giving me this time and sharing the wonderful things that are in your heart that God called you, and you've been faithful, uh, spreading the gospel and doing the mission and loving the people. I mean, I can see that every time I go to your church.
Thank you. Yeah,
I can see you
God is good.
and your husband, how you guys love people, love God, love people,
Yeah.
and how you guys are sharing that. So
And speaking of me and my husband,
yes, go ahead.
we wrote a devotional, well, let's call it a guide, a
Okay.
devotional guide. It's called 40 Days and 40 Nights, and it is a
Nice.
compilation of 33 years of us, preaching and teaching and doing seminars and all the things and talks. And we've condensed that down to a 40-day journal, devotional, and it's a practical applications, sharing of testimonies, things like that, and scripture, and that should be out by the time this airs. And so
This
you can
airs,
go on
yes.
Amazon and you can order it. It's 40 Days and 40 Nights by Lewis and Kiera Deschamps.
Love it. I will definitely get it. Yes, this is gonna take a little while to air, so by then it's probably gonna be out, and
Absolutely. And getting it, yeah, it's
I'm
perfect.
excited.
Perfect. Anytime you buy it, it's the perfect time. And we'd love to hear your feedback.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to do it. Thank you so much,
Thank
and
you.
I hope we get to do this again soon.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye.